Now, the last thing I think I really want to mention, and it really does belong in this lecture, is the effect of market type on revenue. And this is really interesting because you might have heard about startups about something called the hockey stick. And the hockey stick is actually this kind of curve. Now, it turns out what the hockey stick really represents are startups in a new market. Wow, well, that's kind of interesting. Why? Well, if you think about it, in a new market on year one, you have no customers. And so your revenue is essentially flat. And year two, revenue still might be flat. Year three, it might be flat. Year four, oh my gosh, something changed about the market. There might be a tipping point, an inflection point, where sales literally go exponential and start to skyrocket. What happened is a market that didn't exist, all things have just come together, and it's become the year of online education, or it's become the year of the network, or it's become the year of the mobile phone or smartphone. The unfortunate part is most startups who are in a new market see something that look like this and go out of business. So what we're really hoping for is we could influence and affect this tipping point by our customer strategies, our value proposition, and our get, keep, and grow strategies. But the key idea is we want to hoard as much cash as we can because almost no startup in a new market can affect the diffusion of innovation by itself. Other things need to happen. And by the way, this little bump in year one, this represents the fallacy in new markets. Because in almost every new market, you could find crazy people just like you who'd be happy to buy one for their lab or their home or something. They're just such early adopters, they want to have one. And startup founders look at that curve and say, look, it's just going to look like this. And start scaling their sales and marketing and spending, and then it all collapses again. Because it really was just an early adopter sign, not mainstream adoption. So we want to be careful about what our sales curve looks like. Now, what's really interesting is if we're in an existing market, and remember, in an existing market, what do we know? Well, there are customers and there are competitors. And what we have is, by our definition, a better or higher performance product on axes that the customers have defined. So our job in an existing market is simply year after year, if we execute pristinely, simply to take share away from the incumbents. And so our sales curve in an existing market literally should be one of taking share. And finally, in a resegmented market, this is kind of a hybrid of both new and existing. And what's happening in years 1, 2, 3, etc., in the early days is you're actually getting revenue from an existing market. That is, people might actually kind of find you are an okay substitute, but really don't understand your unique value until some tipping point where they realize, oh my gosh, you're just not another vendor in an existing market. You actually solve better a set of needs for a niche, or you're a low-cost supplier that really makes you unique and special, and revenues take off. And so what you have to do is husband your cash, but not as much in a new market, and figure out how to get you differentiated from the mainstream in existing.